Hey guys, just got out of a session with Laura, and I think I'm allowed to talk about being proud of something because this weekend ended up being a literal shit show. July 4th, the 5th, it started on the 3rd, and then the 4th, and part of the 5th, and then the 6th was okay, but my dad basically got diarrhea and he has advanced Parkinson's, so he can't just get up and go to the bathroom whenever he wants. Needs to have help. And when he has diarrhea, the mess risk is high. And he does wear like absorbent briefs because he wears a PureWick catheter, and if that leaks, it contains it. So, if he does poop, it's kind of contained. He lays on Chuck's pads and stuff because, leaks happen. And, but anyway, but it was a very triggering experience. And I took care of myself with self talk while Marcy and I kind of took care of Dad. But Marcy helped ground me because usually when these things happen, we end up having to call an ambulance to take him to the hospital because when he gets diarrhea, it creates a biohazard situation for us. And if it doesn't get under control, it means we can't keep him clean. And that risks skin breakdown. And also, it's just we can't be by his side 24/7 to take care of him, if he's pooping like that. So it took 3 separate doses of Imodium at different times to finally stop it up. But I freaked out for a while because I just thought, oh great, it has to be on a holiday weekend. It can't happen on a random Tuesday. It has to be a holiday freaking weekend. And I started to get those suicide ants, those automatic negative thoughts, and I immediately put a stop to them by telling myself, I'm not trapped here. I am waiting. Because we're getting his placement in a facility figured out, and then I'm going to move out to the new place with Christy, and we're dealing with Social Security and just all kinds of bureaucratic bullshit. But the fact that I self-talked myself out of suicidal ideation without someone's outside help is a big deal for me, because normally I get stuck in it and I get mired in it and I just dwell in it, and I'm like, oh, we're having these thoughts. I've failed at self-care, so I might as well just suffer. And instead I kept fighting. And I got through this weekend. It was shitty, literally. But I got through it. And I'm really missing my mom a lot and having a lot of trouble with grief. And I also really failed at self-care during the weekend because I wasn't eating and drinking properly because, the smells and just being so focused on my dad. I did go out and see fireworks because I've got a video of my neighborhood just going absolutely bonkers with fireworks. I did go out and watch them, but Marcy kind of didn't get to go to her thing at Disneyland that she wanted to do because we had to be next to Dad every second, just in case he had to poop, and it would have been a mess. So, he always seems to do this during holidays, like just days that are memorable in some way or another. And I'm so tired of it. And I just keep telling myself, I'm not going to be here next year. I just hope we get out of here soon. Because the longer this goes on, the more tired of it I get. And, I think back to my mom about when she started having back pain around 2020, 2021. And I learned something very scary about lung cancer is that it can masquerade as sciatic nerve pain. So you may have pain in your lower back that shoots down your leg, and if you get imaging of your back and nothing appears wrong, you better get your lungs looked at. She let it go and let it go and let it go. It could have been solved. She could have been cured. if she had gone to a doctor right when the pain started. But she wouldn't go. We begged her years. 2020 to 2026, we begged her for fucking years, and she just kept refusing, and she died because of that. And when I look at it now, I kind of think she avoided the doctor because death was the only way out. And that was my thinking too. That's where all the suicidal ideation came from for me, is there is no hope in the situation other than somebody dies. And it ended up being my mom. And now things are changing. And I'm kind of pissed that it took her dying to make things change. But every time we tried to put Dad in a facility, something would happen to his health, and we would end up bringing him home. Because my mom wanted to be a hero. And God bless her, she tried. And it killed her. Because she wouldn't take care of herself. This is why if you're a caregiver, you have to take care of yourself. Because if you go down and there's nobody else for your family member, they're stuck. And the system that we live in is so fucked up, broken, that it makes care impossible. Family caregivers probably do millions of dollars worth of free labor. And then we got Trump wanting to gut all this care. And basically put people in institutions, just like the old days when you never saw people who were autistic or mentally ill or had Alzheimer's because they were all locked up. And it sounds like Trump wants to do that again. I won't say what I'm thinking because it would get me banned, but let's just say I wish he'd get diarrhea in public on TV in front of everybody and get humiliated. But just to change the tone a bit, I did see the trailer for Godzilla Minus Zero. I am very stoked. I've got my own theories. I think there's going to be multiple Godzillas running around, and the premise of the movie is getting them all to meet to fight and hopefully kill each other, but maybe one survives. I don't know. That's just my wild theory, because there were multiple pieces of him sinking into the sea at the end of Godzilla Minus One. So Godzilla Minus Zero, what if every one of those pieces turned into a Godzilla, an individual Godzilla? And what if they don't like each other? That's my theory. Anyway, I'm proud of how I handled this weekend. It was hard. That was shit, but I got through it. Hang in there, guys. Really. Whatever you're going through, it's hard, but you are going to get through it. You've made it through this far, so keep going. Alright? Love y'all.